at low health and then continuing to poke reset after reset. Game was over from that point.
Team Liquid, sadly not getting those kills there. Missing out. It seems like that trust that you were talking about in the interview earlier, Calidor, just not quite there all the way, especially when you bring out the replay and show everyone being on different targets. Team Liquid just needs to have a clear mind here and just really try to be on point. If they are, they seem to be in a great spot like we saw in game number 2, but after that Rhaegar in game number 3, you can kill in the bottom right corner, you can see them being off their game.
Yeah, that wasn't even the moment that I personally was talking about. I think we had 2 series like that. So there was one where you just pointed out being on different targets there was an issue. For me personally, it was even earlier when we were before level 10, when we had them chasing towards the middle, the root in the back, and then Tyrael who jumped in, those kills. I feel at this point they're already a talent down, they're already off. I think they tilted, personally. But yeah, you said it earlier, it's mentally damaging. So them just recovering from that is going to be rough. And, I mean, they have Battleground choice now, so that's the big plus for them. They can go into the comfort zone, can say we play a map.
Speaking of Battleground, let's actually get it started here. We're not going to go to a break. Sure. We're going to keep the playoffs going. Game number 4. It's going to be Towers of Doom. Dignitas getting the choice.
Yeah, actually, I completely had a brain fart. They, of course, take the first pick, and therefore Dignitas has the map choice. That was
You're right.
Wait,
you're doing it right. Team Liquid took first pick.
The last one was Liquid's Dignitas map choice, right?
It's not your fault.
I'm getting there.
We didn't get our little break to think about this kind of stuff, you know, to reset.
I need my breaks, my coffee, or I just don't function. That's my problem. And also, I'm still impressed from that last game. So
yeah, so we're going to Towers of Doom here. Now, this is a battleground that both our teams are very confident on. I would say so a little bit more for Team Liquid. I feel like when they come to this battleground, they are on their A game. But Dignitas, they're not shy here either.
Viking ban. That's what I'm looking for here. I think we're going to have potential for a Viking ban once again on the map. But overall, Liquid just... They have to be crisper. They make mistakes they usually don't make. They have to fix that, and they have to fix it fast, because Dignitas has shown up in tip-top shape today. And if given the chance, they're going to finish the series here.
And here's the thing. They're probably thinking about their trust, how they need to work together to get a victory, but there's still that added weight of how important this game is. If Team Liquid loses, they are not going to Sweden. They're not going to mid-season brawl. This is the final time they can lose out in a match. Team Liquid will put it all on Genji.
So, quick points about the 2 bans here. Abathur, typical for Europe on this map to ban him out. There's so much potential. Copies on Greymane, copies on Arthur, Genji, of course, as well with the hat. But Leoric, I very much believe that this is a bit of an adjustment made specifically on the map, not only because of what Kovner has talked over the last few days, the priority of Leoric, but also that Royal Focus build where you soak 2 lanes and just get that wave clear, and that we've seen several times now. That it seems to become more and more popular in Europe. And that seems to be something that Liquid in particular is worried about, that they are getting out-macroed if that's the case.
Do you still expect Liquid to possibly commit to a Lost Vikings comp, even though they secured the first pick on the Genji?
I think they've... I don't. I think they might, though, because if it depends a bit on how they draft it. If you play the Vikings with the thought process that you are empowering a strong 4-man and you just roll with a 4-man the entire game and the Vikings do the rest, I think you could still pull it off. But overall, with Genji, I expect them to play differently and try to play a comp where they 5-man in teamfights later on and dive the backline.
Yeah, Genji doesn't strike me as a hero that fits into that 4-man plus Vikings style as well as some others, which I was kind of expecting to see Liquid go for something non-standard here, based upon the fact that they suffered such a horrific defeat playing fairly standard comps against each other in the last map. However, the fact that we see them not opt to quickly go for the Vikings and set up their initial comp in a fairly standard way here speaks to their confidence. They're still feeling pretty good about themselves even after that last game, which is a very strong point in their favor.
After the last game, I would love to have been able to talk to them, because sometimes even in games that drag out, they just are very rational about it and say, okay, it came down to one mistake early on. If we avoid this, then the rest is fine. So they usually are able to stay calm. It was one of the problems that caused their slump a bit, that they started to lose not faith in each other, but faith a bit in that they can approach the game with that mindset. And they said they have a very healthy attitude now towards it after they got out of it, but they have to show that. So an aggressive combo would work for them. They showed on Sky Temple that they can go toe-to-toe in the team fights. But Dignitas apparently, by the way, even still worried about the Vikings here. I don't think that was necessary, but it shows that Dignitas is playing this safe, and I like that as well.
Yeah. Never want to deal with Hasselhoffs and those Vikings, man. It can be devastating. Now, looking at the bans, you mentioned the reason why Leork was banned. Dahaka very similar in the way that you move. You control those 2 lanes, keep playing around, you have the global available. I think a lot of teams in EU got much better at ganking that offlaner and getting kills. That's why Dahaka's fallen off a little bit on Towers of Doom. But if you're going to ban a global, Dahaka's probably the better choice. With a fall set on the opposing team, if it does get picked up, Genji can still be a threat.
Yeah. Also, with the draft that we have so far, we have again the potential for judgment on Tyrael, and that's where Cocoon is also going to be a bit of a counterpoint, because normally the idea really is to blow a target up. If a Nubura cocoons any part of the combo, it makes it so much harder. So there's definitely already a lot of aspects of back and forth and counterplay on both sides.
Third and fourth pick being thought about here for Dignitas. Already good wave clear here with the Mercenaries on Greymane. You have a Nubrak for your dive. Should be seeing a Mage relatively soon from them, as well as support. Dignitas needs to be aware, though, of something they can control that Genji. Do you maybe go into a second tank and pick up the variant around now?
I would look for perhaps an Uther here on the 3-4 from Dignitas. Avoiding the D-Shield Dragon Blade is something that North America is very scared of. They also have it to enable the Greymane. The Malf is already picked on the other side. I don't know if Liquid actually runs that kind of double support the way you might see it in NA.
I've seen double support from them in general, but I would still be very surprised if they picked an Uther into the Malfurion that they already have.
Yeah.
It's not completely unheard of. I think most of the teams in Europe dabbled a bit with it in a couple of games, but I would still not expect that here.
Yeah, it's the type of thing that has been effective in some of the games I've seen in NA, where you're basically counting on the Genji to do the majority of the work himself in the team fight. Does not look like that's something that Dignitas is afraid of.
Dignitas has a very scary setup themselves. Having Arthas and Nubarak, and then as damage dealers Greymane and Tigers, that is extremely solid.
Especially with the Nubrak opening up a Cocoon here, like right now, the foundation that Team Liquid has, sure they can live, but they don't have anything to really threaten the Tychus and the Greymane. I look at them and I think, okay, well, Genji can be controlled here by both the Nubrak, the Cocoon in some way or some form, and then Arthas, if he gets on top of a target, they're not getting away. So Dignitas is looking terrifying. Team Liquid needs to have something here that they can control the fight with.
I'm sure one thing they remember is the futility of having a solo tank Tyrael against the kind of burst damage that Dignitas has here again with the Greymane and Tychus.
Yeah.
So I would expect Blumby to not want to face that head-on with a Tyrael by himself again. There's that Sonya we've been missing so far.
Vala and Sonya. I was wondering where they bring in the damage, because what they have right now just was lacking it up to this point. And committing to Sonya and Vala, I like that. I think it's also something that is forced. What else are you going to go for in the setup? I mean, there's very little else that comes to mind where you say, okay, this is the damage output that they need. Because Genji alone is great for the poke, but you have someone to really pack the punch.
I like the way the Liquid set this up. It's they definitely showed that they are not panicking from the last game, but they've set up their comp in a way that's significantly different from the last standard comp they tried to run into Dignitas. So this one has way more X factors with the Genji and the Sonya, and I think that will serve them better here than their standard comp in the last game.
I like the Uther pick up there as a final pick, too. You get a little more control for that Sonya, so a little bit more reactive here. Also, for the last second, you have Divine Shield if you need to. But you can also move into a Divine Storm. A Divine Storm onto a Genji can be effective at getting that kill really quickly, and it's also helpful for the Sonya. So Uther should be pretty effective in this matchup.
Yeah, right now the pressure is on Liquid for sure. If they lose the map, it's over. They are not going to Sweden. Dignitas looked fantastic so far. Even on the map they lost, they looked strong. The Liquid played better on Sky Temple, but there was always the threat of Dignitas turning it around. And Liquid just have to play out of their mind and show a completely different team at this point. They need to show that aggression again. They have the lineup to make it work, but we have very strong heroes also on the side for Dignitas, and a very, I would say, traditional setup for Dignitas here too.
One thing I would mention is through 7 games so far, Dignitas 5-0 when Mene is on a mage, 0-2 when he is not.
Boom. Stats being dropped. Let's go ahead and get ready for game number 4. Can Team Liquid tie it up, take us to game number 5, or will Dignitas be buying a ticket to Sweden?
The game is on. and it might be the last one. It's all up to Team Liquid now. Dignitas has shown up in full strength today. Can Team Liquid match that in game number 4? Splendor on Malfurion to the left side. Darkmok on Sonya. Has Ops on Vala. Nurok on Genji, trying to disrupt that back line. And Blumby playing Tyrael.
Dignitas in the far right. We're going to have Uther being played by Bakery. Zalia will be on Arthas. Snitch will be on Greymane. We're going to have Mane on Tychus and JPL on Anubarek.
JPL on the Anub once again. And these Anub plays with Cocoon going into the fight. Cocooning a target, forcing the battles you want. That's something that helped Dignitas. They have today, in those 3 games, won every game where JPL had Anubarek at his disposal. Of course, also carrying towards these maps. Liquid, they need to coordinate better, they need to communicate, and they need to show right now that they are a team that can go to Sweden. Pressure against JPL in that mid lane.
He's taken out. Nurok comes in for the last second. Swift strike into Shuriken, and then we're going to have a kill, but the bottom lane takes the beating as Snitch moves in and grabs a turret.
Yeah, in the mid lane a swift strike and a swift kill, but the tower going down, and now again a rotation. Bakery needs to be cautious here. Very aggressive stance on the side of Team Liquid. They're coming out swinging. They're saying, hey, we are here. We want to make sure that we have a strong presence on the battleground. If we go down fighting.
Blumby may go down here. He's able to escape at the last second. Gonna see how our teams rotate in and start working on those mercenary camps. They'll be popping in about 22 seconds as they spawn at 1:30 on this battleground. Now, Greymane is pretty darn good at clearing out the mercenary, and I'm gonna keep an eye on Genji. Is Genji gonna run to the top? He does. As Genji would probably be one of the indicators that Team Liquid wants to move in for an aggressive invade.
Yeah, Genji is definitely someone we have to watch out for, especially with all the stuns that are in the lockdowns. His movement and his ability to stay alive is going to be crucial for the game. The Agile Dismount has again been taken as the level 1 talent here, so really focusing into the cyber agility, trying to make sure that he has good engages into the fight when mounted. So that's something to look out for. Crossing distances quickly, especially when several altars are on the map, as is the case right now with our first altar phase.
3 altars spawning, but Snitch in trouble, able to dodge out the last second. Blumby goes in for some final damage, but Snitch will be able to retreat, but he has the Hearthstone home to heal up, which allows Nurok to move to the altar on the top left while the rest of Team Liquid comes down to the bottom.
Greymane is still not there. That's a bit of a problem here because he needed to go back, but the level 4 talent is an advantage for Dignitas for a few more seconds. A trade at the top altars, and the fight here down to the bot lane is now about to start.
Team Liquid is willing to give up this altar if they need to, as they've put Nurok on the top to soak up that experience for that level 4. Finally, he will be on his way for the rotation, but Bakery has finished the channel, so the altar goes to Dignitas, and they take an early lead, 36-32.
They take the second altar here. We still have at the top, as you said, Genji, so he is pushing the lane back a bit. Zalia is still trying to hover around, see if he can maybe get some damage in. But overall, the setup for Team Liquid in this game is looking a bit better. But let's not forget, Dignitas, they really exploded early on the last map. This is going to be a bit of a different pace, thanks to the objective and the way the map works. But yeah, Dignitas, I'm very impressed by how Dignitas looks today. It was fantastic to see them play on all 3 maps so far.
They have been feeling pretty good. And Team Liquid, I like their adjustment here in game number 4. I mean, look at all their heroes. They're pretty difficult to take out for Dignitas here in the early game. And it seems like Team Liquid, based on game number 2, if they manage to not have a massive amount of kills before they get to level 10, they're in a great spot and they can match wits with Dignitas. It's all about staying even with them. Sonya in a great spot for staying alive. Genji has mobility. Tyrael himself. And Malfurion and Vala should position themselves to be in a pretty defensive spot to begin with.
Yeah, they just go in with a bit more confidence here. Also taking camps now, trying to drop a few structures as well. Nurok jumps out. Darkmok still on the mound, so it's still all good. So 2 versus 3 up here as we see Dignitas clear those minions, but JPL is again low, but is able to move away and tap at the well. Genji not having the swift strike ready.
And the sappers are actually cleared up here by Dignitas, which was their original goal. They clear them up and they keep their turrets alive, which allows them to get 7 before their opponents. Do have Darkmok moving on Bakery here, brings up the spear and does some decent damage, but it's going to be a 5v5 in the bottom.
Yeah, it's just trying to get some free damage in as everybody starts rotating to the bot lane so that you have a bit of a better start over the fight for the altar. But this is going to be the 5 versus 5 situation. We have also now Arthur starting to make his way over. Zoning still happening, but nobody's going for it just yet.
JPL moves in for the engage, gets a knockup.
Stun is in, unstoppable as the cleanse comes through, but not enough. The kill happening and Sonya down.
But Hasselhoffs is working in some auto attacks, working on Xaylia. Bakery begins channeling.
Channeling still with the 5 versus 4 that we have here, and the rest of the team keeps zoning.
Splendor keeps up with the Moonfire as he delays again.
Hazu with the hits, going for JPL on the Nubarak.
Here comes Nurok, he's keeping him with a poke, and somehow with Team Liquid being a 4v5, they've gotten to move up.
But by the time for Sonya, Sonya on the way back in.
If she gets here in time, they can continue fighting as Dignitas keeps falling in health.
And Hazu just keeps interrupting the entire time as Xaylia is going to push in with a Howling Blast.
I'm watching Mena here on the right side. He wants to come in for aggression.
Mena and the rest locked down though with a good route from Splendor. Timebot and Hazops gets that channel and gets the altar for Team Liquid.
Impressive hold there by Team Liquid. They took an opportunity that would be bad for a majority of teams, and they work in damage. Hasselhoffs in particular was great on the outskirts with damage.
After we saw that early kill, it really felt as if Dignitas would be able to get an easy objective there. But then good poking, they have the tools. They have, of course, Vala. They have also Genji, was well done. But now they struggle again, and the grenade that we see takes down Tyrael. They get at least some trade value.
Some trade value, which every time, not to call out Blomby, but every time I see him on that Tyrael, I'm definitely expecting that trade value to happen, as he keeps getting targeted every time. I feel bad for him, man.
It's not only the bell towers that fire shots today. Trixla is shipping in too.
I love you, Blumby. Just gonna throw it in there. There's a little PS, a little postscript there. Team Dignitas takes this opportunity to push in the bottom, keeping the lead here, which has been the theme of these games. He hits 9.5 before 9 even hits for Team Liquid. However, Xaylia is taking a beating.
Snitch is coming in though, and Nurok needs to start to move back and stay too long. That's always the risk if you start to chase here, but maybe they can get the kill, or do they lose another? It looks like it's gonna be the latter.
Yes, Dignitas is rotating much better here than Team Liquid. They will be able to defend their teammates, and they're this close from level 10.
This is starting to become a bit of a trend in the games that we've seen. Dignitas with the earlier 10, but 3 kills against 1 is not the end of the world yet. Team Liquid just looking for a kill they cannot get since Arthas was too tanky, had the full mana to just call himself the entire time, get that health in. But they are going to give this one up very likely. Or are they still fighting for it? If maybe Genji can interrupt and they can get the 10.
Their movement needs to be on point here. They need to rotate in together, because Cocoon is what allows Dignitas to be ahead here with that level 10 and force fights that Team Liquid aren't ready for.
They decide against it. I think this is definitely also the memory of the last 3 games still in their head.
Yes.
Yes, we might be able to force, but do we have the confidence to make it happen right now? Let's get the 10 and then take the fight. So instead of the altar, they take the camp away, force the fight after that. I'm okay with that for now. And
they're keeping up the pressure. They realize that Arthas is not here. They're hoping to get these sappers pushing into a lane. Arthas in the top lane is floating around, but you're pointing out that right now, Uther has yet to pick a heroic.
Exactly, and we were talking about the stun as a potential. It's not only about the Divine Shield here, it's also about the Divine Storm as an option to lock targets down, either after Cocoon or just simply when you see that Genji going into the backline. So Uther keeps his options open on the side of Dignitas.
I mean, you mentioned it yesterday. When you're playing Genji into Malfurion, the silence can be effective. But that's basically what Uther's Divine Storm is. It's just a stun. It's just as good as an actual push-in. But Divine Shield will be the choice. Now we have an engagement here on the bottom right as Sappers start to push in.
Yeah, Bakery prioritizing to save targets here. Zappers push in. Get the structures low a bit to the top. We had Arthas taking one of the camps now too. Sanctification for Tyria. Not going full on the Judgment, which I'm, by the way, I'm a huge fan of Judgment, don't get me wrong, in the right composition. But in this setup here, Sanctification is just so much better.
Yes, much more effective for keeping that Sonya alive so she can whirlwind up and keep the fight movement, having that big power moment where she gets low on health but just barely survives.
So 2 altars spawning to the top, and we have 11 versus 11. The teams start to slowly collapse onto those 2 bell towers, onto those 2 altars, and trying to set up for an exchange. I don't think we're going to see a lot of evading here.
No.
I think both teams are going to be happy to simply channel one of them through.
1-for-1 for sure. The only way this is going to happen is if Dignitas opens up a fight with a Cocoon. Hasselhoff's in trouble though, does vault away. Here comes Blumby for the help.
Cocoon being used in the back. In comes Norok. Cocoon over in a second. Sanctification on the ground. Had to be used here. Tyrell was holding it back for a while. Didn't want to commit to the cooldown. Decided then in the end to simply do it. I think it could have moved back and simply dropped the Cocoon, but so far, still fine here.
Well, Dignitas didn't use their heroics, where Team Liquid did. They used 4 in that fight. So Dignitas moves down and instantly starts their Merc camps, knowing their opponents shouldn't be able to come in for an engage.
Team Liquid used actually way more cooldowns than I thought at first, so they committed to quite a bit. And that was a great play from Dignitas then in hindsight. So getting with 1 Cocoon, the value out of 4 cooldowns was pretty good. Team Liquid wasn't really forced into it. I also don't think it's gonna have an impact.
I don't know, if 13 hits and with the Cocoon coming up in 8 seconds, there is a good 30 to 50 second window where we're not gonna have Sanctification and Dragon Blade up. Dignitas is moving in, Hasselhoff's in trouble, Snitch gets a kill.
Yeah, there's the kill and they get Vala. So Dignitas playing it really well, gets the double kill out of it even. I expected Liquid to play more defensive after they use the cooldowns and they don't. So it's a triple kill against them. Dignitas is just exploiting this perfectly.
And now Dignitas can open up the map. They throw 4 in the bottom here. They're going to start pushing in, get that bell tower taken away, slow down this entire fight now afterwards. They control that bell tower and make Team Liquid play on a very back foot.
Maybe even committing to Odin just to get the structure. That's all that they want, the need here. They try to go for Zelia. They can't even secure that kill. Yeah, things are not going Team Liquid's way. They are still in reach when it comes to points on the core. 24 against 28. But Dignitas looking stronger, having a level lead, and it's a triple altar phase on the map.
Yes, those deaths come at a horrendous time with the bell tower down the bottom left, 3 altars spawning up. That is, if 2 altars grabbed, 10 shots that Dignitas have available to them to put pressure on Team Liquid. Yeah,
Liquid is now starting to posture aggressively. They are saying, okay, we need to make some plays here. They buy time for Genji. He can cross the map fast, so they're gonna wait for that. Tigers is at the bot lane, so it's a 3-for-3 over here. Armies being popped, Bakery moving in.
Team Liquid's going to try to keep up with here. It's all over this altar. Bakery, as you mentioned, was starting to move in.
Tychus on the way back into the fight from the bot lane.
There's Blumby coming in, just trying to put a little bit of pressure on Zelia. Zelia answers back with a Howling Blast.
Howling Blast is used here. We see Blumby once again with the option to go in. He still has the cooldowns. Nothing used yet.
Hasselhoff's trying to keep his stacks up. Works in auto attacks.
And we still have a 5 versus 5, but everyone really in that stalemate situation from both sides. Sanctification, we have to watch out for it here.
That's what I'm watching for here. Dark Monk charges in. He has popped the Wrath.
Once again, grenade coming in. Darkmorg on half HP, needs to be careful. Splendor way in the back, keeping himself safe.
So far, Dignitas is really winning this poke here. Snitch in particular, bringing out those cocktails.
Liquid worried about the Cocoon. Here's the engage. Cocoon comes in. Sank not used here, but any moment. Dragonblight about to drop, but here comes the Divine Shield. Arthas is down, so is Genji. Uther falling. They move in very deep, and once again, we see just one shot after another fired from Odin, but Mene can't get the kill.
Team Liquid going so deep there. Can they get the altar? They do. They grab a few more shots. Only 3, but still a big power moment for Team Liquid.
Yeah, that was one of those situations where especially Splendor was super worried about the Cocoon. He was keeping himself so far back. Team Liquid trying to zone so that Anubarak never got close. And in the end, Anub going in with the Cocoon. The Dragon Blade on Genji, it looked as if he could get even more kills. Just look at the situation. Look how Splendor is so deep.
He's playing so careful, Tony. He's waiting for Zelia to get out of the bush. The moment Zelia gets out of the bush, all the control not available for Dignitas. They move forward. Nurok goes aggressive. Divine Shield was used, but we had Dark Monk even diving in for that Snitch kill.
It was a fantastic Divine Shield by Bakery, saving Snitch and enabling Greymane to get the kill against Genji. So it was extremely well played on their part. Also, Anubarak moving out with very few hit points. Dignitas could have lost way more heroes here. It was very impressive that they kept all of them alive, but then they lose the altar. So overall, still a win for Liquid, but they could have gotten even more out of this.
They certainly could, and we go to the late game, and Dignitas typically this far has had a level to level half lead on Team Liquid. They only have a half-level lead right now, and Dignitas is looking for something they can grab on the field to move forward with advantage, but Nurok scouting out the boss in the top, and the rest of Team Liquid being in the bottom and playing safe, it's been very difficult for Dignitas to make any plays.
Yeah, Liquid is playing this I liked it. I like it very much how they approached it this time. They know about the danger, but here comes now the move, and can Genji move away? That's the question. Stuns are going to come in any second.
Stun
Bakery.
perfect.
Yeah, 1, 2, and there it is. They get Genji. These Cocoon engages are just what keeps Dignitas in those games. It's getting to a point where I really want teams to ban Anubarak out of prioritizing as a pick heavier, since Dignitas is getting so much value in every game that we see in JPL on Anubarak.
Their coordination has been point, and Team Liquid is in a spot here where they have to make a play for at least one altar, but Splendor is being chased by Arthas.
Yeah, also Sonya still at that bottom there and not getting the altar interrupted. Cleanston moves out, Genji down for another 10, but the fight is still starting. Hazops is so low, not killed. Can they move away from this? It looks like they are actually able to escape, especially with Tyrael using Sanctification.
That's the problem, though. The heroics being used. Twilight Dream is available for Malfurion, but Bakery begins the channel. We're going to have Genji on his way from the spawn. They do get the interruption, but Darkmok might be caught in a space.
Lumbi is really low. Cocoon is used. Genji comes in. Genji is on the move now. Goes in, zones them out. This is the 5 versus 5, but the altars are channeled. Can Liquid get kills, though?
Nerok just barely missing out on the delay, and if Dignitas can get away, like they do, they're in a great spot. They take a lead, 22-11.
Such a clutch channel there on the altar. Sonya was not able to make it work at the beginning, but then towards the end, it was Dignitas barely able to get it through. Genji was already on the way. He was in, but they did not get that final top. 16 versus 16 now. It's a great talent for Team Liquid, because now they have Frostshot available. That's a great tool. They have the Tenacious Roots, and they also have the Holy Ground. A lot of zoning happening, and they're already about to use it here.
Yes, they're moving on and Snitch. Darkmonk chasing him down. Bakery was locked down on the bottom left, but ignored. But the Mercenary Camp, the major story of that engage, goes over to Team Liquid.
Genji with the Dragon Blade has popped the ult here, forced them back, and they are starting to pressure the bot lane in heavily. They are trying to go for a bell tower. It's 17 versus 17 in levels. 3 kills against 8 in favor of Dignitas, and Dignitas is once again starting to push in.
Dignitas makes that hold look easy. Cocoon is out. Sonya lives. Cleanse has been used. You're going to have an engage happen. Twilight Dream missing.
Great reaction on the Cocoon, immediately taking it down. That's exactly what they have to do here, but here comes the lockdown against Blomby, and he goes down. Can he get the trade? Well, Divine Shield used on Grayman as he jumps in, but he still falls.
Team Liquid has a chance here to start winning some team fights. They trade 1-for-1 overall.
It's always so tricky when you have a team that is really low against the Genji. Genji is looking for these kills, but didn't get them here. And Tyrael got immediately, he wanted to go for the explosion there, but that's when the Divine Shield was used. It was an opportunity to get a kill with Grayman before he falls. But Vala moved out of the way, had also Gloom that saved her a few hit points. It's a 4 versus 4 now as we are angling for another altar at the bottom of the map.
Team Liquid will have the slight advantage as they'll have a 10-second window for Tyrael to get back into this altar. Odin will be popped. Delays are definitely possible.
Cocoon is once again off cooldown. A spin to win. Cocoon being used.
That's actually really good here. No Cocoon being up makes it harder for Dignitas to fight.
Nurok jumps back out once more. Darkmok trying to zone as Genji is on the altar.
Nurok is channeling. Can he get it? It's getting close. JPL will go for the delay.
Nurok with a dodge against the stun, tries to go in again, but Mena interrupting once more as we have Tyrael appearing in the fight. It's a 5 versus 4 for a few more seconds.
Darkmok with the Beyblade here, keeping up with the spin. Mene's low on health. Nurok is looking for it.
Should be a channel, but no one on the altar. They are moving Malfurion over, but now it's a 5 versus 5.
Gonna have Cocoon up in 30 seconds. Nurok on the back left. Splendor gets the altar. Team Liquid keeping themselves in the game will drop the core down to 18.
Ah, this match.
My heart.
The 4th map, the entire time. This is just so tense. The back and forth. The tug of war around the altars. All the time. The last one that we had at the bottom. Won by Dignitas in the end, but it's always the attempt to channel, moving a hero out of the fight, the opponent pushing in again, zoning attempts from everybody, just trying to close off these avenues where you can get an interrupt through. But in the greater scheme of things, the big advantage for Dignitas is that level 19 versus 18. So this is where Liquid is pushing in heavily with 2 mercenary camps at the bot lane because they want the bell tower and they want experience.
They're gonna get some too. The sappers connect here on the right. Darkmonk moves in, low on health, sanctification being used. Tyrael hoping to move in too.
Divine Shield on Mena, but it's not enough. He goes down, that's the kill.
He's getting more. The Beyblade continues to attack here on the right side. Hasselhoff's working in the auto attacks, but 2 lone zappers are heading in. Can they go to the core? One, and the second one gets cleared up.
One zapper connects, and Team Liquid rotates into the middle. Trick, we're having them both on 19 now, and this is going to be another bell tower. Liquid all of a sudden showing up in force on the map.
They are, and look at the experience. They're so close to 22. They have tied things up here.
Can they
They're moving up. I think you move in here for the fort. Yes, you move straight for it because you're trying to spread out Dignitas as much as you can.
It's so low. They get it. They get it. There could even be a shot. Not quite, but they can go boss now. They could go. They have 20 on 20. 17 seconds until Tigers is down. They move towards the boss. 11 points on the core against 17. 20 on both sides.
They're doing it. They're going for the boss here, and there will not be a contest from Dignitas. They're working on their own bell towers instead. So we're going to have a few shots going out. The core will drop to 13 here for Dignitas. 2 altars also spawning.
Again, also 20 now. Such an important talent. Genji with Sanjin does not have it completed though. Super important here. So to activate it, you need to block 6,500 damage. It's currently at roughly 4,200. There we go again in the team fight over the altars. Genji moves within. Cocoon already on the ground. We have Odin popped in the backline. They're trying to go in with a big red banner. Starkmog is just trying to somehow keep himself alive here. Moves out once again. Do they give this up?
They have to retreat here with Mane being on that Odin, popping out the button. The Holy Grail comes out. Sanctification 2. Darkbot goes in for the spin. We're going to have JPL low in health. Divine Shield being used.
Divine Shield being used. Stasis. Iceberg on side of Malfurion. He blinks up, bolts up, but Genji is down. Genji is dead, and so is Hazop. Svala eliminated. Stitch is also low, but he's about to escape here. Darkwa was trying to hunt him down. Can't make it happen. He himself in trouble. Bloomby attempting to zone for him. Waits for another opportunity, but this is it. This is a triple kill.
Dignitas getting 3 kills and also both the altars. Now, they only have 3 shots available to them. They have to make decisions. Do we move in for bell towers and get a few more points? Remember, 11 shots are here for Team Liquid. So if both altars are grabbed for Dignitas, they will stay in the game. Team Liquid will still be here.
Bloomby always with the attempt to interrupt. It's 30 seconds. It's just too much. If Sanjin was ready, but it's not, and he needs so much time. Nurok needs so much time to get that online, to complete the quest here. It's another 2,200 damage that he needs to activate it, and that would of course be a massive game changer. But losing this many heroes in the fight without getting a counter kill, that was a big blow against Team Liquid.
That was a big blow, and they're going to get the bell tower in the bottom left, which is going to make the blow a bit harder here, as we're going to have the altar grab on the top right. It's going to drop the shots down to 2.
You have to ask if they got too greedy there. They were low, but going for the trade, they could have made that work. The position was tricky, especially with big red button on Tigers.
And Genji was actually channeling the altar on the top left, but the moment Cocoon came out, they panicked and they had Genji come in. They were not willing to lose out on a member. They felt like they had to win that team fight.
2 points on the core. Holy Arena also used Interior. Another big thing here. So we have 2 points on the core for Team Liquid, and we are seeing them retake their own bell tower. So it's all reset at this point, but they cannot lose a team fight anymore.
Do or die for Team Liquid. 2 shots on their core.
Divine Shield. They need to zone them. If they get onto a bell tower and just simply start the channel, Divine Shield can end everything. You can just cheese through an altar. So they need to zone them early so that they can't even get close to it.
Hyper-aggression will be needed here for Team Liquid. They're even being aggressive down here. Cocoon has been used. JPL diving in on Darkmog.
Going in once again, straight popped in the back, zoning them out for now.
Oh man, such a scary moment here as Hasselhoff keeps working in the auto attacks. We're going to have Nurok also using the Dragon Blade. 2 big heroics down for Liquid.
Yeah, Nurok should never really get anything out of his level 20. Not at the pace this is going, not with them being this far down. It was a bit of a gamble going into this, but let's see if they can maybe make it work. But they are already zoning. They know they are on their last leg here.
They're trying to just keep Dignitas somewhere on the map where they can pin them down. Not necessarily get into a fight, but also just to stop Dignitas from getting away, pushed in, anything that could be devastating for them.
Again, guys, if there's a channel started by Dignitas, Uther has nothing more to do than simply drop the Divine Shield on the target and the game is over. It's a double altar right here. They need to zone the hell out of Dignitas now. And Dignitas, all they have to do is find an angle, find an avenue, move in, Divine Shield, GG.
They can choose one altar here. They can even split it up here and try to sacrifice, get into one of the altars. Dignitas has all the tools. Team Liquid, it has to be the aggressors, as you keep mentioning.
Liquid is trying to get an early altar here so that they can focus on a single one. That's what they're attempting to do here. Already up at the top, there's JPL going against Norok. They move down. Bakery is on it. He wants to get into the spot here. You can see it. They cannot allow Uther to take this position. They need to go in, but that's the problem. And this should actually be it. There's the channel. No Divine Shield. Doesn't go for it yet.
JPL is actually grabbing the one in the top right corner while Nurok's trying to slow it down, but he is low on health. Darkmog goes in. Twilight Dream has been popped.
Vala is down. Vala is down. Darkmog also about to fall. And the channel is through. This is game a 3-1 victory for Dignitas, looking solid today against Team Liquid.
Dignitas is going to Sweden. Congratulations to them as they earn a victory. They will join alongside Fnatic, and we have our 2 EU representatives. And it's going to be pretty darn exciting as Dignitas, they showed up today and they looked poised for greatness.
Absolutely impressive. On all the maps, they really showed up there. We had fantastic coordination on their part. Liquid with a few options in the last game in particular to maybe fight back there, but Dignitas just was too strong, and it's a very well-deserved victory.
Yeah, congratulations to Dignitas. Team Liquid, I thought, played this game very well in the mid to late game phases. You saw how badly they were getting wrecked by the Cocoon all through the mid game, and you saw Team Liquid make a very noticeable attempt to counter that out by grouping as 5 instead of splitting and forcing fights hard, to the point where they were almost diving into the rockets and sometimes doing so because they just wanted to fight as 5 without getting picked off. However, once they hit level 20, Genji opting to go for the Zanshin when it wasn't completed. So at that point, you're choosing to play for later in the game, but then deciding to take that fight instead of just capping one altar and giving the other and waiting for the Zanshin to be complete before going for the game-deciding team fight, I think was a mistake. If he did take the Zanshin, they should have been happy with a 1-1 split.
Yep, I agree.
Well, Bakery is ready. Dignitas is going to Sweden. Congratulations! How do you feel?
It feels amazing, for sure. I mean, maybe it didn't look it in some games, but there was so much pressure in this series, and Team Liquid played really well, especially in that last map. It was really intense.
What gave you guys the edge here to earn the victory over Team Liquid?
I mean, I think just in general, with this roster, we have a huge amount of potential, and I think that we're finally realizing it. And I think we still had more room to grow, whereas Team Liquid as a roster has been the same for quite a long time. And I think the fact that we're willing to change things up is probably what gave us the advantage here.
Dignitas moving to Sweden. I'm happy for you guys. I'm going to send you over to Caldor.
Well, first of all, congratulations. You guys played out of your mind today. Some really cool plays there. Really well done. The only question I have, you guys going to the mid-season brawl, which one is the one team that you personally want to play against?
I really want to play MVP Black. I think Korea probably looks weaker than ever coming into this tournament, and I think there's a real shot that us or Fnatic can win at the mid-season brawl. So I'm really excited to play MVP, and hopefully it's an EU final.
I can't even tell you how much it makes me happy to hear that.
Cawthon, any questions for Bakery?
No questions. Just a congratulations, man. I'm happy you guys made it through, and I'm excited to face up against you guys again. I won't ask any strategy questions for the obvious conflict of interest. I'll just say I'm really looking forward for a chance to play you guys again. Scrims or, real games, either way. We always learn a lot from playing you guys.
Bakery, before I let you go, the mid-season brawl in a couple weeks. What are you guys going to do to prepare? You got any boot camp set up, or are you just going to be scrimming a lot? What's the main goal for you guys?
Yeah, so we're planning to boot camp. We haven't got it sorted just yet, but now that we're qualified, we'll go away and speak to management and hopefully get a really good boot camp set up for the event.
Awesome. Looking forward to it, man. I'm going to go ahead and let you go so you can get started and get ready for the mid-season brawl. Before you leave, though, the floor is yours for shout-outs.
Shout-outs to my team. They all played amazingly today, and I think they really do deserve to be able to go to mid-season. Shout-outs to Team Dignitas, of course, and especially Methanodi. Shout-out to all our sponsors. If you want to follow me, then you can catch me on Twitter, which is @BakeryHeroes. And yeah, thanks to all the fans, and we'll see you in Sweden.
Oh, man. Congratulations to Dignitas as they'll be going to the mid-season brawl as the second seed here for Europe. They'll be joining alongside Fnatic, and we have two power